Welcome to the Metal Prognosis. My name is Lee, and on today's Pedal to the Metal, we are looking at a Moen product. And this pedal is, better get it out of its case, is the Phoenix Song Overdrive, which is pretty cool and green. I like it. I don't think I've used any of the Moen products before, so it's going to be interesting to see how this sounds. We just got a basic volume, tone and drive, so it's all about whatever characteristics it brings. So like all the Pedal to the Metal videos, we'll put a camera to this, we'll dial in a tone together and I'll talk through my thoughts while we're doing it. Then I'll have a little jam, which I'll share with you all, using whatever settings we had on this and inspired by whatever overdrive sound we have. And then we'll have a chat about it afterwards. So in saying that, let's get stuck into it and see how the Phoenix Song sounds. Now we have everything set up, ready to go. Got my little Jackson here. Just like all my Pedal to the Metal videos, this is what it sounds like clean. But no one cares about that. They care about the dirty stuff, the distortion. So let's get stuck straight into it. So first thing I'm going to do is put the tone at 12 o'clock, so just straight up and down because it just sounds like mud if you have it down low. We have the volume here. So I don't know, let's start the volume just down here first. Engage it, and let's see how it sounds straight off the bat. Too soft. Give it a bit more. So the higher you push the volume, it definitely helps shape the sound as well, which is pretty cool that a pedal does that. So let's start adding some gain. So just add a little bit in. A little bit more. So I've got a little bit of hiss coming through when we push the gain that high. Kind of to be expected because we're pushing the gain high. Well, that was a bit bad. Try that again. So even playing lead work, it's still sounding pretty clean. So now what I want to do is leave the gain up a little bit. Let's muck around with the volume a little bit and see how much that alters the sound. So that makes a huge difference. And not just because it's quieter, but it actually alters the characteristics of the gain. So it's definitely less aggressive. Now, so let's crank it all the way up. So we get the hiss back, but that's okay. So hard to tell the difference when we dial it back from maximum to just bringing it back a bit. But yeah, there's definitely a difference though if you don't push as much volume coming through here with the gain cranked. So let's just try the tone at the moment and see how much that helps shape the tone. So that does sound a little bit too muddy for my liking. So let's go the opposite way and crank it higher. I actually like those settings where they are at the moment. Make sure that's focused. Yep. I mean, I could muck around with it more, but sounding good, it's sounding good. So having the tone up compromises the sound a little bit. So we lose a little bit of the bottom end and a bit of that chug, but I'm not too worried about that because I prefer the aggression that we kind of get by pushing that tone up higher. So for the purpose of this, we'll keep it up pretty high. Now, if I dial this up, you'll hear we've got a bit of noise in that coming through. Now, a few different ways of getting rid of that. Firstly, we can just dial stuff back, like so. Immensely jeopardizing the good sound that we had. So we don't want to do that. So we're going to put them back up to where they were. The other way is we could use like a noise suppressor pedal. I'll do some post-editing in that, but we're not going to worry about that because we're just after the tone. And it's good to know in these type of videos, if you were thinking about buying something like this, exactly what you're getting. These videos aren't about me showing off my sound engineering skills. They're displaying a pedal. So the last thing I'd want to do is try to fool you and you get a pedal and I make it sound all pretty and sparkly and you get it back and it's got that hiss and you'll be like, where did that come from? This is what you get in pedals. Not a bad thing, it's a normal thing. We're pushing the volume pretty high and we're pushing the gain pretty high as well. So in saying that, I think that sounded good enough to now do a little bit of a jingle. So I'm going to take a little bit of time away from the cameras here, compose a little jingle, then I'll put it in a little Brady Bunch form with all the different windows, all the different takes that I do for it, whichever I choose to do. But I'll be minimum doing doubling up on the guitars, having it in the left and right speakers, and having bass and drums. So we know what it sounds like by itself now. So let's check out to see what it sounds like in a band mix. And I shall see you all on the other side. Time for my final thoughts on the Phoenix Song Overdrive pedal. So firstly, let's just talk about a couple of the knobs here. So I really liked the volume and drive, how kind of working with them and blending them really helped shape the sound. Because sometimes in pedals, the volume just gives you either louder or softer, where this actually really helped shape the tone a lot, which is good. The actual tone knob, having it all the way down wasn't overly muffled, I think is the best way to describe it, like in some other pedals. But I definitely liked it a little bit more higher, which means we lost a bit of the bottom end chug while we were playing. But I didn't feel like it really, I don't want to say I didn't need it, but I preferred the aggression that it brought by dialing up the tone rather than keeping it at high noon, which is straight up and down, or 12 o'clock, and having that bottom end in there. So that was kind of the compromise that I chose to go with this pedal. And talking about compromise, also to the hiss. So it was a little bit hissy, this pedal, and I don't want to say that as a negative thing with this pedal. With these pedal to the metal videos, we put these pedals under the spotlight. So there's very little room for it to actually to hide, so to speak, or to blend in with other equipment and other things. So the fact that there's a bit of hiss coming through is normal for any pedal or any amp that you push the volume and the gain that high. So yeah, it's definitely not a negative thing, but I definitely preferred the overdrive sound that we got when I did push them both to the higher spectrum of the knobs here. So now about just its characteristics. I was actually pleasantly surprised by it. It was pretty easy to find a tone and very user-friendly on getting a nice distortion tone. I feel like anyone that prefers more of a hard rock style or maybe blues with a bit of dirt or not as an aggressive type of distortion could get a hell of a lot out of this pedal here. That's just not what these videos are for, so we didn't try to find something like that, but it definitely did ring those bells, and I kind of felt like it ticked those boxes as I was kind of dialing it in, finding a more aggressive tone that I prefer to go for. So yeah, definitely more pluses than not. So when it came down to actually jamming a song, so the song that I kind of inspired to work with was a song I did with Shadows at Bay that we released in 2020 called Come Undone. So I just took a little snippet of that and recorded it. It sounded good in the mix, but it definitely was a little bit hollow and not quite as aggressive and punchy as I was, not so much as I was hoping for, but what I normally go for in my distortion pedals. And that was kind of highlighted while I was playing it, as in while I was doing the takes, and then the isolated guitars when I heard back just the actual guitars, which is why I put them in at the end, so you could hear the two comparisons together, which I'm going to do more in my videos too, to isolate them as a group, so you get to hear it by itself while we're dialing it in a band mix, and then isolated with doubled up guitars, just to see how much thicker it can actually sound, which I felt like it just wasn't thick enough. The lead actually sat in really nicely. And with the lead, I didn't change any settings on this, which normally you would. If you were recording, you would kind of alter your patch to cater for that lead. But I didn't want to do that for that, because I just wanted to shine on the settings that we had set for it and how they fitted in. And I reckon it fitted in really well, which is positive, which is good. What else can I say about this pedal? Quite a bit. It's got really nice artwork. The green is a nice colour. It's definitely well built and put together. But that's not the main things about this pedal. That's just a couple of little things I wanted to add to the end. So yeah, it was fun using. Didn't wow me. Didn't actually blow me away. But I definitely wasn't sad playing it. And it felt nice playing and jamming through. And it was fun. It was definitely a fun pedal to use. So, but I'm curious to know how much more aggression you can actually get from this, or how you can utilize its not too bad characteristics that it already has, mixing it with an amp head. So putting it to either a Marshall head or an orange Dark Terror or something else, to see how that might blend and fix, and to put them through big speakers to see how the warmth of this would work matching up with it, because that could be pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty much my conclusion of the Phoenix Song pedal, overdrive pedal. But like all my videos, I want to know what your thoughts are. How do you feel while I was dialing it through and all that? Do you feel like I pushed it too hard and its sweet spot is reserved a little bit more back for rhythm and blues or hard rock compared to doing a more metal thing? Or do you think I should push it a little bit harder maybe? Or do you think maybe adding a boost to this or chaining other pedals to it might really help bring it to life? Yeah, so what are your thoughts? How do you feel in the mix compared to isolated guitars? Because I definitely feel like in the mix, the bass, guitar, and the drums really helped bring out the defined notes that the guitars had running through this, compared to when it was on its lonesome in the isolated version. But yeah, definitely keen to hear what your thoughts are on it. And I will finish up by saying this pedal is definitely on the cheaper side of pedals. So for the money that I did pay for it, it was definitely really good. So I don't want to stomp on it too much, saying it's not my type and, and all the rest of it, because it definitely was cheap. So for the money I paid for it, definitely a decent sounding overdrive. So in saying that, I'll do my sign off, because I think I definitely have babbled on long enough. I definitely have, because the cat has gone to sleep there on their speakers. So that is definitely a sign. So whether this video is in the foreground or the background, I absolutely appreciate your company and your support through all my videos I'm doing. I'm loving all the comments, whether they're in these videos in the comment sections on YouTube, or anyone that's adventured to my Facebook page and has had conversations with me there. I definitely love the community and being a part of it, and sharing my little parts and having the backwards and forwards, messaging. It's really, really cool. So yeah, I look forward to chatting with you more. And in saying that, until next time, please stay safe.